Hello and welcome back, everyone. We are continuing our Victoria run in Civilization 6. We have been playing as Victoria, and we did a little bit of a naughty thing. We had one more turn after finishing recording last episode, and then we got kind of the most important tech for the conclusion of this run. We also got a mega colossal eruption. Shout out to Mount Vesuvius. But most importantly, we researched the social media technology, and we do need to cover that because we are trying to win with a culture victory. We can see here. Social media will define the information era. We enter the new era. I never get tired of Sean Bean's narration. If there's anything that I will miss from Civilization 6, it is indeed Sean Bean. But in particular, tourism is going to be how we win, and this is going to give us an enormous amount of tourism. Output to civilizations which you have a trade route, 5% culture per city-state you are the suzerain of. I forget exactly how the calculation's done, but culture does get converted into tourism, and so we are going to be slotting in that card as well. Governors provide +1 loyalty per promotion the governor has. That's maybe a way that we could try and hold on to the south. And then also extra culture from civic squares if we have population 15 or higher. We're not exactly in that kind of, sphere yet, but that might... Yeah, the loyalty one might come into play here. We are having a little bit of difficulty holding on to our cities here. They are rebelling slowly, and we actually need to somehow push some free city down here that we don't know where it is or what it is, but it's applying enormous amounts of pressure, much more than we thought, and so unfortunately we're going to lose these two cities. Just to kind of briefly come up with what happened last episode. Last episode we kind of pushed a little bit into Dido. We took one city up here. Now she's really hemmed in. She's not going to have enough cultural resistance to really be a problem for us winning a culture victory. Cleopatra is the biggest one, and she is our ally, and so we are going to be sending rock bands to her. In fact, we have our first rock band heading on over there as we speak to perform in this aerodome. We need a name before we can go on stage. Shout out to us. Why don't we be the Green Atlas and do our very first rock show to generate tourism in this venue. Yeah, that sounded like not the best show, eh? We did in fact lose the rocker, but we generated some tourism. We will probably continue to send more and more rock bands that way. But also last episode, we finally took Thang Long, and now Hua Lu is rebelling, and so they will flip our way shortly. We also took Bologna. This was probably a mistake because it generated a ton of grievances. I think I regret taking this, but we had an idea, and the idea is that if we took this city, once Hua Lo flips, Hui probably flips to pressure as well, and then it's down to 3 cities here for Vietnam, which is going to provide, again, basically zero resistance. The only other person who could possibly stop our victory at this point would be maybe Gilgamesh, coming in the way of some sort of... tech victory. I don't think that he's got that in him. Or, I suppose, a diplomatic victory that would be coming from Cleopatra herself, but we have a ton of diplo points saved up, so we should be able to stop that if we need to. So that's how things are going. I think we're kind of crossing into the finish line here in regards to trying to win our culture victory. We have it ticking for 61 turns, but this is without us doing stuff like buying a ton of rock bands, performing a bunch of rock stuff, and also slotting in some of the cards that we have just achieved, which we will be putting into government. Unfortunately, we have to give up some of our trade route stuff, but that's not going to be the biggest deal in the world because it's just not. Why don't we, in particular, go for this? In order to generate a lot more culture. We have a lot of suzerains. We're at 1,400 culture currently. I'm not sure if it's going to update perfectly here. And then we also wanted to get a tourism output. I think that, in particular, we have less campus and industrial zone bonuses overall, so why don't we slot this out, and we'll still be very trade oriented. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 trade cards in. We have 41 potential trade routes. And then will this update immediately? It will not, but it will. So that's plus 500-ish culture, which is absolutely enormous from us having all those suzerains. So we will really be flying on the culture now. Flying on the culture train. I think that, man, it's a shame that we can't find a way to hold on to all this. If these guys would just... If we had time to put in trade route and get these places to grow, we would be in fine shape. But we'll just have to recapture these cities after taking whatever is down here. Not really sure what that is, but we'll find out. So we do manage to find the city, and fortunately, it was in range of our battleships, which we were very much not expecting. In fact, this could have been a bay city. It should have been a bay city. If the city was right here where this wonder was, canal, we go bay. Full bay, full life. But with taking Sparta, we probably will be in a position where these will no longer be flipping against us, and so this does seem to be the case. We will be keeping Sparta, and will Sparta be getting disloyalty? Just a little bit. And so I think we've actually kind of finally equalized this northern little portion here, where nothing is going to be flipping disloyal, except for... Nope, these guys aren't flipping disloyal. In fact, we might have to assign Victor from here to here in Sparta, but we will just keep the city. We will not liberate it. Nope. And so now we have a kind of solid beachhead, and we don't really need these troops here anymore. We're going to go for these guys over here, I think, just because that's super free. Let's fire it with the sub one more time before we do, because we don't want it to flip the other way when we could flip to us. Ooh, nice. That maybe will be a spot where we could put a... No, we can't quite put a... What is it? A natural... a conservatory. Oh my god. I'm blanking out so hard. A naturalist to found a national park. We can't quite put a national park here. That would maybe make some sense. But here we pick up, as you can see, the pyramids of Giza. This is a wonder. I forget which wonder this is right here. But with us just kind of keeping the city, let's see how the loyalty looks. Disloyal in... so... This place must... I don't see a good way to decrease the pressure from these cities on this city, unless we move... We can move Victor there instead. So why don't we reassign Victor to Groningen? Because Mashhad will not have anywhere near as much pressure now, because it has this Gordian city on the side of it, and then we will be getting disloyalty in 7 turns. But if we can grow the city a little bit and grow Mashhad, then we should be in good shape here. So what we could do is we can, first of all, let's see if we can purchase a trader here. And the idea is we're going to try and grow these cities as quickly as possible. So we're just going to buy traders out of here and have them trade just for the purposes of gaining as much food as possible. That way we can do this. But once this army is kind of freed up, not that we are really winning with an army, you know, kind of this sort of situation, but I think we kind of turn our attention towards Uruk here. In particular, we need to do something about these aircraft that are kind of hurting us, but I think that if we land one singular tank there, that takes care of that, if I recall the mechanics correctly. So we could just move all these troops over to this kind of waiting zone, and then go and land here on Uruk, and then go for the capital and all this other stuff, and just kind of push through here, especially because I think every single one of these cities is going to be within range of our navy. This is definitely a weird looking map in terms of what we've rolled, where there's just a ton of like little scraggly islands and this type of stuff, and it's definitely been really good for us throughout this entire run, because one, it's impossible for the AI to really push us through these like spotted mountain terrains with like a bunch of different type of stuff, so we've just been super safe. But also, as we've developed naval dominance, we are able to push everyone else, so it really has felt like kind of a UK playthrough, sort of. We've been playing like the UK the entire time, using like naval dominance rather than land dominance in order to get things done. Like looking over here, we have a couple land units, but it's much less than them, and it's really just this string of battleships that is doing work. We also decided to not go for Hui, but instead go for Tra-Q, because this place will not be able to maintain loyalty very, very easily once this place falls, and Hua Lu is going to be flipping to us in 11 turns as well, which will exert even more pressure on Hui. Hopefully I've been pronouncing this wrong. I mean, right. I mean, I've probably been pronouncing it wrong. But after that, I think we're probably just going to full annex these guys, given kind of the way things look and the amount of army we have here and this type of stuff. That way it eliminates the grievances, if I recall correctly. If they're gone, who can be mad about, us taking them out? So we unlock the very next and final government type of digital democracy, which is going to be great for us because we will be able to kind of have it all and slot in everything that we want. We're going to, again, be kind of trade-oriented and also be trying to generate as much culture and tourism as possible. So let's slot in some stuff for the domestic. It's a little bit attractive to do science, but I don't think we really need more techs. I guess we'll come back when we've kind of decided what we want and show kind of what will be the final cards for our nation. Alright, so we've decided on our slots a little bit, looking to really be cashing in rather than building up, so we're not doing stuff like adjacency bonuses on industrial and campuses, and instead we are going for 200% tourism from Great Works of Music, plus 100% from Great Works of Art and Artifacts, plus 50% of tourism output to civilizations with which you have a trade route. Traders cannot be plundered. That is the Golden Age one. Your international trade routes give plus 1 gold per luxury and strategic resource to the destination and plus 2 culture and science. We will be generating envoys with plus 4 influence towards earning envoys. We will also be gaining production and food for our trade routes with allies, 5% culture per city, per suzerain that we have, which is quite a lot, and then also just plus a big amount on trade routes. We still have 40-ish trade routes, and so we are going to be using these to kind of lean into being more going for this tourism stuff. So a lot of what we are going to be buying from now on might be more leaning towards the districts that are going to be providing us with faith and being more oriented towards this, because this is going to be kind of how we win. So we have been moving these rockers out. Let's promote this guy. It's additional if he's level if he's on wonder tiles, so we'll have them be on wonder tiles, but we are mainly just ascending over here as we kind of look to flesh or finish this game out, and so we'll be a little bit more aggressive about buying, specifically in places where we have faith districts. Like we have a faith district over here, but I'm not certain that there's anything for us to buy here. So to that end, actually, let's research this just in case these wonders haven't been built yet. I'm not sure, but we could use some faith wonders, and we'll just take us 1 turn in order to get in. This might be one of the best Halicarnassus we've had, because we made it on a place with like an actual island. So just taking a look here, this Halicarnassus is applying to all this territory. We had planned on building it quite some time ago, right here, but we never ended up founding a city there or there, and so, eventually, just the one little snippet island with the mausoleum spot right next to it became the ideal place for a mausoleum of Halicarnassus. Now we're going to be gaining a whole bunch of stuff really late in the game, but it does feel quite nice to have it be applying to so much stuff. In fact, we can even fish that boat out. You know what I'm saying? I don't. And then we will also be coming over here, and we managed to find another city here that was in fact Free City, and it looks like this is Free City as well. And so we have this place surrounded. It shouldn't be too hard to take, or, well, we're taking it this turn. And with this, we will just keep the city, not liberate it to them, and check on here, and it looks like we are gaining loyalty over there, and we are gaining loyalty even in Rotterdam, so everything has been fully equalized. I know we've kind of said it's been equalized and then pump faked and then it's really not been equalized, but now it seems to be we properly have this beachhead area in which to expand and go for stuff. Let's grab that guy. And so we will be still trying to push down here with the land forces that we have in this area, though, because if it's free, it's for me, and these guys do seem to be a free city, and a free city that is producing faith, which is going to be something we're generally interested in, because we are every single turn. Now, at this point, we have been buying a rock band. At a certain point, we will not be able to buy a rock band. Is that time now? No, the time's not now. Rock never dies here. We will be buying rock bands every turn out of Da Nang. We are performing with these guys. They have had 3 gigs so far without dying. Here's shout out to them having another gig without dying. Oh, just kidding. They say rock never dies, but sometimes you just die. Sometimes you pack it up. Sometimes you're like, we can't make it, bros. Damn. We are wrapping things up in Tra Q. We should be able to... Oh. I was going to say we should be able to amphibiously take them, but I guess that was a lie. We will start to move down south to be able to push other cities here. Instead, under the assumption that this infantryman... The predictor said it's had 1 day or 1 turn for this, but we will be taking this with an amphibious landing from this guy sometime soon and begin shifting over. You see the loyalty here is decreasing in 43 turns, but once this flips, we will have more pressure for ourselves, and especially once we take this, we'll have more pressure. We're also found the city in here that we can also take, and that's a big source of where a lot of the pressure was coming from. 9 pop, and so we will be able to take this, and also just kind of updating things on how the tourism victory is going. We're up to 200 out of 52. We don't have a estimate on the progress we're getting, but I think it was like 40 turns last time we saw the progress estimate, and we are continuing to move bands, rock bands, down into their vicinity. So we're going to take an upgrade here, and we are going to see... We could do this at national parks and national wonders. I think that there are some national wonders, and I think that this is going to be the best kind of place that we could go for. I don't know where the national wonders are, or natural wonders are, if there are any in specifically Egypt, but we don't necessarily have to perform in Egypt. We do know that there are national wonders out and around, like the Fountain of Youth is right over here. So if we have to use that, we will. And then we will continue to promote and take a look. Civilizations within 10 tiles receive 50% of the tourism of this concert. Performs at national parks. I think that we'll do this, and then we'll look to perform more on the coast here in this kind of area of these 3, and hopefully that guy makes it. And then we will continue to recruit more rock bands. We are running low on our faith that we had been stockpiling for some time now, so hopefully the increased production that we're going for kicks in. We also recruited a naturalist with the idea that we are going to make another national park here next to the volcano, because the volcano is going to destroy this stuff anyways, although perhaps the naturalist was a little bit of a miss, because we might not even have enough turns for the national park to be worth more than just another rock band. So we are starting to make use of these commodities here that generate tourism pressure, the mass-produced souvenirs. I think that we want one of these in London. We are a little bit afraid of the... Actually, I think we just want both of these in London. I thought that this one was applying negative spy kind of chance, but I think that we're just going to stack these up in London. London has by far the biggest tourism production that is possible. We have several wonders in there. We are working on the Christo Redeemer, which is going to also further help us, our ability to, generate tourism, because relics and holy cities is not diminished by other kind of civilizations. This will be useful. We have wonder here, wonder here, wonder here. We have a high civic square with a themed building, if I recall correctly, and so really generating a whole lot out of here. And we get the negative amenities hit, but we will just continue to produce more and more tourism out of here. It says our predictor is now up to 62, which is not quite where we wanted it before, but I believe that out in front quite strongly is Cleopatra. I guess there's a little bit from Embriux, but we are at war with him currently, so if we start nabbing some cities and peeling off some cities from him, which we could definitely do, then maybe this would be a better approach than actually pushing this guy. Is starting to peel off cities, because if he has fewer cities, he will have less and less defense against a cultural victory here if he looks like he's going to start passing up Cleopatra, but I don't think he is, so I think we're in fine shape. We finally managed to deploy our aerial forces, except we didn't. Where'd you go? Weren't you just based over here? How'd you get based over here? I'm so confused. This guy got jammed up, though, when we deployed both of them over here outside of Lagash. I don't know what exactly they have here. They have 2 fighters and a bomber, so I thought that our jet fighters would be able to make short work of them, but I guess maybe not, because they kind of messed this guy up. Although maybe they're at low life, and this is just the way things are going. We made a little bit of a mistake with these guys. We should have upgraded them before sailing out, but we'll just upgrade them up here and then look to push. I think Lagash will be the area we try and make some sort of progress. We could also go into Kish, which would leave this place with a lot of negative pressure, especially because the era is ending soon in 6 turns, and if people enter Dark Ages, we will have really good opportunities to take some more cities, although it's maybe a little bit moot, considering our tourism is kind of rolling in now. So the victory date predictor is down to just 17 turns now, with us generating a little bit over 1,100 tourism a turn. We get our first really good concert and a level up here with the headliners. These guys are specialized currently in working on wonder tiles, which is fantastic because that gives us a lot of tourism and will help us to move along here and generate enough to win the game. We see that there's another wonder here, so we'll be moving there next turn, upgrading, and then performing again. We do have to be a little bit scary, or scared. We're already scary. I mean, the sun never sets on all this. We're definitely already scary, but we do have to be a little bit scared about losing to a science victory, so we have to try and keep this in mind. There's maybe a world where we want to start working against Cleopatra, but that feels bad, man. Why don't we just win culturally without stymieing their ability to try and win? So we begin the push into Lagash here, which will hopefully be effective. Looks like we will capture these guys. Another one's poor fortune becomes our thing. Yeah, this guy's happy with us as well. I think we'll hold on to the city for the time being. This is the last turn as well before the end of the age, and so we'll repair that. And we will rebase these guys over here. But I'm imagining that the end of the age is going to have a lot of things going on here, so we will want to be taking a look at that when it happens. These guys are performing, and hopefully they get a nice little tourism thing. But if, for example, if Cleopatra has a Dark Age, we might just win on the spot here. I think our cultural victory, according to the AI, is imminent. We have 7 turns remaining until we get there, and so, and this is not including the fact that we're about to do a bunch of rock performances. The power of rock truly sets you free, and those guys will promote as well. So that'll be fantastic for us. We're still, like, building some city stuff, really starting to get hurt quite badly by the flood barriers, so if the game were to, like, if there were to be more resistance on the behalf of the AI, we might even look to, in particular, as we are researching up to global warming mitigation. I think we'll actually start using that if somehow the game goes longer, but I can't imagine it does. We have over 100 in excess of what we need for era score here, which is a little bit amusing. But as this age comes to an end, we are hoping that Cleopatra Dark Ages. But even if Cleopatra doesn't Dark Age, if other people Dark Age, this will put us in a pretty good spot to keep expanding, taking wonders, this type of thing. These guys, Hua Lu does flip our way, which leaves Hui, and Pest is flipping, and Qui Non is kind of flipping, although I imagine it has to do with the fact that there is a bonus in the capital, so Qui Non, once we take that, then Pest will stop flipping, something like this. We enter a golden age. Embroid and Dido and Suleiman all enter Dark Ages, so This will maybe be good for us, but not as good as it could have been. We see that none of Ambroy's cities flip, which is unfortunate for us.
The sculpture serves to give people one thought.
Very nice.
Everything is in God's hands. The time will come.
The Christo Redentor as well. We also win the World's Fair. Who would have thought? The Christo Redentor is also going to be fantastic. In London, we also have a ton of tourism as a result of having a whole bunch of different wonders and various things, and then we are also getting, does it not show in this portion of the user interface? We also have a ton of great works. We are slotting in more and more commodities, which provides 25% tourism pressure towards other civilizations in the modern era, but it hurts the amenities, but this is going to give us a lot more tourism, unless I'm misunderstanding the mechanic. We'll keep this city, of course. And we will take a look. Who else had a Dark Age and had anything flip? I don't think we saw anything really flip in terms of going free. Hungary kind of staved off any sort of problems here. So if we take a look and we see how many turns, it's not going to give us a turn prediction, but I think we're in very good shape here, especially because we still have all those rock bands performing. I think we can recruit one more if we come in here, but we are kind of in the wrap things up zone of things, just shy of being able to buy a rock band. We have 4 out of 10 of the greatest cities of the modern era, but truly the greatest of all is going to be London, which is producing the most gold, the most culture, the most industry, not notably the most science. It doesn't have a science building or a science district in here, otherwise it almost certainly would be producing the most science. But we also have Plymouth, which is over here, in the mix. And we also have, did we just lose that when we, oh no, did we just lose the update? Sad times. We had 2 other cities in there for 4 out of 5, though, for the final, what is going to be the final greatest cities rankings. Our culture victory is now imminent, only 2 turns away until we dominate the culture. We get Mary Leakey, who will give us 525 science for every artifact. That's not the important part, but artifacts in all your cities generate 300% of their normal tourism, which will give us a little bit of tech here, but we are just a couple turns away now, and I think that we might even get it next turn, just because the prediction is not necessarily going to be that great. I think we have in the card that allows us to pick any one of these, and I think that the one that we have been using is plus a 1 level if performed on a wonder tile, and we'll name them the social envoys, but we just have a little bit further here to go, and this might be, we're going to take a look when we end this turn if this is the final turn of the game. Magnificent performance. Doesn't really matter at this point because we just need to end the turn and get through all the last units in order to be able to claim victory here for ourselves. And we pass the turn. Here, let's get this guy out of the way.
Last, and how they are remembered. The beauty that you have inspired our people to create will ensure that our culture stands for all time.
Alright, so we give for ourselves a little bit of a culture victory. Why don't we view the timeline just a little bit here? Well, actually, let's take a look at some of this stuff. Ranking as far as score goes, yikes, we haven't really... Have we not? We've definitely gotten a high score before. Okay. But you can see the graph of us kind of being middle of the pack, scrummish, probably a little bit low, and then we just pop off really, really hard at the end here, which is kind of how it goes against the hard AI. Why don't we view the timeline? Maybe not. Is there a... I remember there being like a thing where you could you could view the entirety of like what happened like over the course of time, like the cities settling and like this type of stuff. I don't think it's just one more turn. Maybe it's at main menu? We'll double check. Probably not, so I just remember it being different when we won. Alright, so we loaded back into the turn before victory, because I kind of wanted to go over a little bit about how this entire run went, as well as a little bit of thoughts. For the most part, I think that we kind of started off in London here. Well, we definitely started off in London here. And we were trying to really, from the outset, leverage our very, very strong unique building, Royal Navy Dockyard, or our ability to spam a whole bunch of these to develop a whole bunch of gold. And this is how we started initially, and then we transitioned into building a lot more industrial zones, trying to lean into the advantages that we have from Victoria Age of Steam. You know, extra production for the first 3 industrial zone buildings in the city, plus 2 production on all strategic resources. We didn't actually have a lot of strategic resources. Also receiving additional energy in this type of stuff, but the Royal Navy Dockyards came up quite quickly, and they ended up servicing us quite well overall with our kind of start position here, where we just had almost everything, like most of our cities, like half the tiles were water tiles, and so we had to lean into this sort of direction and this sort of thing. Then we fought Vietnam a little bit to establish full control over the bay. To be fair, I don't think we used this canal a single time, like at any point for anything, so this is maybe a little bit gratuitous for what we did to the poor city-state that we razed to the ground in order to make this happen, but we do like this like long snaky pathway. And this is kind of what we are going with our reroll for the game, kind of over and over. In particular, the ability to buy a play pattern that we kind of engaged in quite a lot was found a city, buy a trade dock, buy a trade route, and then ship it over to Egypt. This kind of got all of our stuff expanding very, very quickly. You know, once we got up initially, you know, and we were able to expand outward, settling a whole ton of cities that ended up getting quite large. You know, in the beginning-ish portion, or the middle-ish portion, you know, London had like half of our income. Now it's nowhere near half of our income, as our other cities on other areas started to really flourish here, off of like one trade route to get them started, buying all the basic government buildings, and then kind of switching over the trade routes to London. And London truly became like a city of the world, and I think that this run overall played kind of a little bit like the British Empire, where we, you know, leveraged maritime trade and then industrialized kind of before everyone else, and used that to expand our reach. The sun truly never set on our empire because we colonized all over the place, you know, near and far. We also stole some artifacts, you know, from people, classic Britain, in order to fill our museums, although we didn't focus on that as much. And so, you know, we fought a few people. We fought a lot more than I normally do in Civ games. Normally I kind of just chill. We fought city-states a lot. I'm pretty sure that this is more correct to do, and it's not usually my playstyle, but we did it because I thought it would be a little bit more correct, but maybe, and also certainly on theme. Oop, didn't want to talk to her, but we have, you know, kind of established a lot of different stuff. I really like these mods. It's a shame I don't think I'm going to be playing them again, because I think the next run we do is going to be in Civ 7, and it's unlikely we go back to just play Civ 6 in any kind of way. But a lot of these mods produced buildings that in particular scale with you know, the size of your city. So, for example, +3 production per turn for each citizen in the city. This factory scales up. I assume that's a third, so we're getting +7 production from this factory in London here, and it is scaling with the size of our country, which we maybe didn't lean into as well as we should have, because in vanilla Civ, you're just supposed to sprawl as hard as possible, because what you're getting is mainly from the base bonuses, and population isn't all that important. But population's made a little bit more important by these mods. But to be fair, there's not a lot of adjustments we could have made with kind of the way that our continent looked. Our continent was awful. It just had a lot of like specks of mountains, and like really hard to work any sort of adjacencies in, form stuff like farm triangles over here. We did end up having farm triangles on kind of our more regular looking spots, or we have a farm triangle up here. In terms of pushing the pops, we had a farm triangle, but then it got flooded. This is something that would be a lot better for this mod in particular. I know Civ 5 you could play really high, really tall. Well, you could also play high, but you could play tall in particular, and that this would be really nice for. This was a playstyle, playing tall, that was really effective in Civ 5 that just doesn't work in Civ 6 because you have to sprawl out as much as you can. We have a nice little farm triangle over here, or it was a little bit more than a triangle, but looks like it's flooded here. Is it flooded permanently? Maybe it's flooded permanently. Oh no, wait, we have this coming up, so we were going to repair this. But these cities were going to expand pretty quickly with the just the amount of grain that we are going to get. We are going to maybe make a triangle. But really, these mountainous kind of regions definitely made city planning really a lot more difficult. And we got this because we tried a bunch of different start conditions because we were looking for this mega bay, that opportunity, and doing the chaotic, I forget what it's called, the chaotic type of land mass really helps for that, but it also gives like apocalyptically bad like mountain situations. And then we have a relatively normal looking continent over here. We didn't really get to fully explore it, but like you could see it's mountain ranges, not singular mountains all over the place. Mountain ranges being a little bit better for giving certain types of bonuses, as well as like a little bit of defense without too much defense. Like you can fully surround a city, which was not possible, and we saw like pushing through here just felt really, really impossible. Not that we are super used to the military things in Civ 6, because we generally play a little bit more passive, but the fact that there's encampments and then mountains forms like an artificial mountain range where you still have to respect the fact that they can push troops through there, and you can do the same thing. Like our bay gave us just disgusting levels of protection. Newcastle upon Tyne had this encampment, and then we could put archers and stuff on the other side here, so they would have had to approach, and then they would have had not a whole lot of surface area to get into Newcastle upon Tyne. Although they never tried to approach from this direction, they always came through here and just got shut down. This run was quite a bit of fun. Very excited for Civ 7. Haven't consumed too much content on it, so I don't know exactly what it's going to look like going in, but excited to test around and play. I hope you guys enjoyed this run that we did here with Victoria, and if you did, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Again, we are planning on streaming the release on February 11th to those who are interested of Civilization 7, and other than that, you guys all have a good day.